Good morning. My name is Dominique Damien, and I'm with the Washington Farm Bureau. Today we're doing ladder safety training for employees. Now, this training is not comprehensive as it does not include specific information about the ladders at your work site. You must follow the manufacturer's recommendations and instruction for proper use, inspection, and maintenance. You must also know the hazards presented at your work site, like uneven working surfaces. Now, we're going to go a little fast, but this is recorded so you can revisit it. And if you have questions, please feel free to ask them throughout. You don't have to fall far to get hurt. Most fall injuries involving ladders are from less than 10 feet. Falls usually take place from the upper part of the ladder, resulting in serious injuries. Accidents result in 38% sprains, 26% contusions, 12% fractures or dislocations, and 7% multiple injuries. According to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, 20% of all falls are fatal from ladders. Every year, there are more than 200 injuries associated with ladders. Falls make up 29% of total claims in agriculture. And if you look at tree fruit alone, it rises to a whopping 36%. In Washington state, there are more compensation claims by orchard workers than any other type of agriculture worker. Orchard injuries alone account for 45 to 58% of the workers' compensation claims for Washington farms. The average time out of work from an accident in an orchard was 150 days. And between 2015 to 2019, our Farm Bureau members experienced 1,387 claims for injuries caused by falls from ladders, costing our program $14,424,192. The most common accidents are falls from the ladder tipping or from the person slipping. So there are 4 safe rules for portable and orchard ladders. First of all, make sure that you're picking the right ladder for the job you're going to do. Second, make sure that it's in good condition and then set it up properly. And then work safely while you're on it. To determine the type of ladder that you're going to need for the job you're doing and the environment you're in, here's some quick information. Wood provides a natural feel and good insulation against heat or cold. However, untreated wood ages quickly. Wood ladders need a protective coat of linseed oil, not paint or varnish, to keep the wood from drying or splitting. Also, wood ladders are heavy, particularly the longer ones. Aluminum ladders are lightweight and corrosion resistant. They won't crack or chip with rough handling. However, aluminum doesn't insulate well against heat and conducts electricity, so never use aluminum ladders when you're working near sources of electricity or energized electrical lines. Fiberglass is durable, weather-resistant, and non-conductive when clean and dry. Unlike wood and fiberglass won't dry out or split and provides better insulation against heat than aluminum. However, fiberglass ladders are heavier than comparable aluminum or wood ladders and can chip or crack with improper handling. Now, these are all examples of portable ladders. These are ladders that can be moved or carried readily. Portable ladders are typically manufactured from aluminum, wood, or glass. The portable ladder classification includes the self-supporting ladders, single ladders, twin front ladders, extension trestle ladders, and extension ladders. Once you determine the type, determine how much weight will be applied. Never exceed the manufacturer's maximum intended load, which is the total load of the person's weight, equipment, tools, and materials that will be applied. Keep this in mind when you're also purchasing the ladders. The maximum intended working load for each type of ladder, excluding orchard ladders, is as follows. Your extra heavy duty ones are intended for 300 to 375 maximum intended load. A heavy duty ladder is intended for up to 250 pounds. A medium duty, 225 pounds, and your light duty or household ladders are good for up to 200 pounds. Don't subject a ladder to a load greater than its duty rating. Now, orchard ladders are portable ladders used in orchards that can be readily moved or carried. Their tripod design with a flared base also allows all three legs to make contact with the ground, even on uneven surfaces like slopes or ditches. This extra stability is especially important on farms that aren't completely flat. Orchard ladders can help you reach tall trees and shrubs that you might not be able to access with a standard ladder. For example, you can put that pole through the center of the tree. And then fixed ladders are anything that can't be readily moved or carried because it's an integral part of the structure. Now, once you've chosen the ladder, make sure it's in good condition before each use. Visually check the joints between the steps or the rungs and side rails and make sure that they're tight. Check rungs, cleats, or steps that make sure they're not bent or broken. Make sure the side rails are not bent, broken, or split. Check all bolts and rivets and make sure they're in place and secure. Check all hardware fittings and accessories and make sure they're securely attached and working properly. Make sure all movable parts operate freely without binding or excessive play. Make sure the safety feet or other auxiliary equipment are not excessively worn, and make sure they're actually in place. Make sure the metal components are not corroded, and make sure there's no other faulty or defective components. Do not use ladders in need of repair. They must be taken out of service immediately or replaced. Make sure you have a competent person inspect the ladders using inspection criteria. An inspection is required after any occurrence that could affect safe use. You must make sure any ladder with structural damage or other hazardous defects are marked to identify it's defective and tagged "Do not use" or similar language, and then remove from service. Do not use ladders for anything but climbing. Now that you've chosen the right ladder for the job, let's go over the proper setup. For step ladders, make sure you're never using an aluminum ladder within 10 feet of an energized line or equipment. Never set the ladder on unstable surfaces or objects like boxes or barrels to gain additional height. If you need additional height, get a different ladder. Do not use step ladders as straight ladders. This is something we actually see in the field quite a bit. Do not stand on or step on the last step, the top cap, or the bucket or pail shelf. Ladders made by fastening cleats across a single rail are prohibited. Follow the manufacturer's recommendation for the rated load capacity. Do not place tools or materials on the steps or a platform of a step ladder. Make sure the step ladders are set up on a firm, level surface. Make sure they are fully open with the spreader bars in a down locked position before using it. And if you must place a ladder in front of a doorway that opens toward the ladder, make sure you block the door open. Close and lock the door or guard the door to prevent a person from opening it. For straight or extension ladders, they must extend at least 3 feet beyond the supporting object when used to access it. If it doesn't, again, the ladder is not tall enough and you got to get a different ladder. All extension or straight ladders must be secured to prevent displacement. Raising an extension ladder can be a two-person job, but one person can raise a ladder if they walk it in the up into position hand over hand. Make sure that all ladders' feet are on a firm and level surface. All ladders must be equipped with safety or non-skid feet. A straight ladder should be placed against the wall at an angle so that the base of the ladder is 1 foot away from the wall for every 4 feet of height. That's a 4-to-1 ratio. And then after raising the extension portion to 3 or more rungs of the ladder to the desired height, check to ensure that the safety dogs or latches are engaged on the same rung. So make sure it's locked into place. Now, orchard ladders. First of all, Washington State is the #1 apple producer in the U.S., and tree fruit is its largest industry. The Pacific Northwest Agriculture Safety and Health Center's research analysis of Washington labor and industry records show that most injuries in orchards result from working from ladders. Unstable placement, overextension, slipping while descending, and being struck by falling ladders are examples of ladder-related accidents. Orchard ladders are used for pruning, thinning, and fruit harvest. At the beginning of employment, employees must have an orientation and training on the proper use of ladders, including how to set the ladder up properly and dismount with a full load. Keep the rungs, shoes, and boots clean of substances that would make them slippery and hazardous, including fallen fruit or debris. Do not step off the ladder onto branches. Only one person at a time may climb or stand on the orchard ladder. And never sit on an orchard ladder's top cap, and don't stand on the top 2 steps of the orchard ladder. When positioning a tripod orchard ladder, the steps should be level and the tripod leg should extend straight from the center line of the ladder. Where possible, the legs should be placed on level ground. If required, on sloping ground, position the tripod leg uphill. When positioning the ladder across a land slope, locate the tripod leg slightly downhill. Position the straps of your fruit sack or bucket to evenly distribute the picked crop weight and maintain a stable posture on the ladder. Carefully remove the fruit from the tree to prevent being poked or hit by rebounding branches. Do not overreach. Avoid reaching too high above your head or too far to the side while standing on an orchard ladder. Climb to a higher step or move the ladder closer to the tree if you are beginning to reach above your head too far, or lean out past the ladder rails. Orchard ladders past 16 feet are prohibited. Now the following applies to portable extension step ladders or orchard ladders. Never use a ladder or any other tools within 10 feet of electrical lines, such as power lines. Only one person is allowed on the ladder at a time. When you're climbing up and down, make sure you face the ladder. Do not carry tools or materials in your hand. Keep tools in a belt or hoist objects up after you. Do not stand on the top 2 rungs of any ladder. Never move the ladder while you're on it. Move slowly and carefully on the ladder. Do not jump from it when you're descending. Do not work on a ladder when you're ill, overly tired, or possibly under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Stay off outdoor ladders during severely bad weather, such as severe rain, wind, or lightning. Make sure the ladder is not moved, shifted, or adjusted while you're on it. Prohibit work being done from ladders of more than 25 feet above the ground or floor if the work requires wearing ear protection, or eye protection, or a respirator. If you remember to pick the right ladder, check its condition, and set it up correctly, you will ensure that the job is done safely. Keep centered on the ladder. Here's a way to remember to do so. Your belt buckle should remain between the 2 side rails at all times. Never lean from the ladder because you can cause it to topple. Footwear should have clean soles and made of non-skid material. Ladders must be checked for defects before use and thoroughly inspected periodically. Ladders must be inspected immediately in the following situations. If a ladder tips over, inspect the side rails for dents or bends or excessively dented rungs. Check all rung to side rail connections, check hardware, and check the rivets for shear. If a ladder is exposed to excessive heat, inspect visually for damage and test for deflection and strength characteristics. If the employer is unsure about the ladder's condition, seek help from the manufacturer. Use 2 people when necessary to lift or carry ladders, and never let anyone ride on the tractor or trailer unless there are seats dedicated for transportation purposes. When transporting ladders, one would place their arm through the ladder and balance it on their shoulder. That way they can carry it horizontally. If needed, use 2 people to carry it and watch for other people or obstructions. Ensure the ladders are stored where they will minimize damage. Equipment such as a ladder dolly can also help during transportation to minimize ergonomic risks. Ladder storage must protect the ladder when it's not in use, provide sufficient support to prevent excessive sagging, provide ease of access or inspection, and prevent the danger of accidents when withdrawing the ladder for use. Just to summarize, workers who use ladders should inspect the ladder before each use, extend the spreader bar if applicable, and lock it in place. If using an extension ladder to access higher work levels, ensure that the ladder extends at least 3 feet past the landing. Extension ladder should also be angled with a 4 to 1 foot ratio. Check the stability prior to climbing and ensure it is in the best position. Wear non-slip footwear and clean of debris or excessive fruit or product. Stay near the middle of the ladder and maintain 3 points of contact. Workers do not want to stand up on the top step or top cap. Set it up on unstable or movable objects or ground. Use a defective ladder or extend it too far or extend it while standing on it. They do not want to overreach or carry loads so they can maintain 3 points of contact. And that is the end of our training. If we do not have any questions, we'll finish up here. If you have additional questions, you can ask one of us at Washington Farm Bureau. Jeff is out of the Kennewick office. I'm out of the Lacey office. And Luis is out of Sunnyside. Okay, thank you for your time today. Have a great rest of your day.